We're going to talk about the new TFT Set 3 traits and champions that have been released on the Riot's website. So let's take a look at the first one. It's going to be the Star Guardians. The Star Guardian uses all 6 as a base, and they can expand into a few different compositions. The trait gives mana to all the Star Guardians each time one casts a spell, so these will be very caster heavy comps. This sounds a lot like the Ocean trait we already have in set 2, where you gain mana over time. And you can see in this picture we got Poppy, I think that's Nico, Annie, Soraka, Ari, Syndra, and damn, that looks like a Kindred, but I don't think that's a Kindred. So here are all the actual champions. So for an example, they've given us a 6-star Guardian, 4 sorcerers. So we know sorcerers are coming back with a different effect. So whenever a Star Guardian casts their spell, you distribute 20 mana to 30 mana among all the other Star Guardians when you have 3 or 6 on the board. So when you got all these guys on the board, we get up to 30 mana. And this is a lot of mana we're getting back. So this is essentially, once again, an Ocean trait we already have. And I think the Ocean trait has been working very well. And I think this is why Riot has added this back into set 3. I think Oceans really help sorcerers recast their spells in set 2. So I'm glad to see this trait coming back to help out the sorcerer comp. So I really do like it. I like that Riot is adding back traits that are working in set 2 back into set 3. The champions are Poppy, who is tier 1, Star Guardian and Vanguard, tanky frontliner, Zoe. Oh, that's a Zoe. Okay, tier 1, Star Guardian, sorcerer, ranged crowd control. Ari, tier 2, is a Star Guardian sorcerer, ranged spell damage. We got Nico, tier 3 Star Guardian protector. Syndra, tier 3 Star Guardian sorcerer. And Soraka, tier 4 Star Guardian mystic, with Annie, tier 2 mech pilot sorcerer. So I'm very interested to see what all these other classes will do, and I don't think they've given us all that information. But sorcerers gained a new effect. All allies gain 15, 40 to 120% increased spell power at 6. So instead of casting 2 spells, which is what is currently in set 2, now they're just going to get straight up boost in spell power damage. This is more consistent. I think the current sorcerer ability in set 2 is it's sort of a hit and miss, especially if you don't have 6 mage. So if you just go 3 mage, it's only a 50% chance to double cast your spell, so it doesn't do anything half the time. But with this new sorcerer ability, it's a consistent power boost, and I think this is going to make sorcerers much stronger. So I'm glad to see, once again, Riot is adding in something that's going to be more consistent than something that's less consistent in set 2. So the next one we have is the Cybernetics. For the next example, let's look at the new origin that has a pretty straightforward bonus, but a really unique requirement to activate it. This origin is flexible. You can splash at 3 or try to go deep for all 6. So we can see these are the project champions. But this Kale, I'm sure, I think that's not a project skin from what I know. Yeah, so we got Kale here. She's coming back. Yasuo's coming back, Leona's coming back, Shen's coming back, and let's take a look at it. So the final composition example, we got 6 Blade Masters, 3 Cybernetics. The trait effect is Cybernetic champions with an item equipped gain 300 health and 30 attack damage at 3, and at 6, 800 health and 80 attack damage. So they need to have an item equipped to gain the effect. That's interesting. So we got Leona tier 1, Cybernetic and Vanguard, tanky frontliner. So I'm guessing the Vanguard is basically the Warden class. And then we have Fiora tier 1. She's a Blade Master, so Blade Masters are coming back once again. And Irelia, she's coming tier 4 at Mana Reaver and Blade Master. So this is a really interesting effect. You're going to have an item equipped. So if you don't have an item equipped, if you don't spread out your items on these champions, is this not going to work? Let's just keep reading. So we got Blade Masters that have 3 at 25%, and then at 6, 50% chance on hit to attack 2 extra times. So it seems like they've removed the 4 Blade Masters, and now you have to get 6 to get the maximum bonus here. Right now, Blade Masters are not doing so well in set 2, but they did have a time where they were dominating meta. As you guys remember, the Nocturne and the Sivir, before they had to nerf Sivir so hard to the point where she's like pretty bad now. And Blade Masters are just either really strong or they can be like really bad. I wonder if the new Blade Master champions and this new Blade Master trait is going to fix the issues we have with the current Blade Masters in set 2. So we have Xayah tier 1, and then we have Shen tier 2 Yasuo, and Kayla tier 4 Valkyrie Blade Master class. Wow, okay, so Valkyrie must be her special origin. That's really cool. I'm really excited to see Kale coming back, and I wonder what she's gonna be bringing to the table. So how it works, a comp that's all about empowering Irelia to be a massive carry. Cybernetic gives health and attack damage if the champion has at least one item on them. You can put items on Leona. If you were to power them up, keep them useful all game, and then in the late game load up Irelia to be your major item carrier, backed up by 6 Blade Master. Yes, it's back with some slight adjustments. She'll be a monster. So I think this origin, why it works, let's take a look at why it works. So why it works, Cybernetic opens up a new option that we haven't seen before, in that you need to spread out your items to maximize the benefits. So that's what I was thinking. You guys spread out your items if you really want to maximize the Cybernetics. The trait itself is very strong if you're willing to put one item on each champion, so it becomes a fun puzzle to figure out which items get you the best return. Cybernetic is also a much more flexible origin, as it has a lot of options on how to branch out. We expect it to be one of the more popular 3-piece origins. In a way, I feel like the Cybernetics are like a better version of the Berserkers. Right now, 3 Berserker, for example, sucks, because it's like if you have 3 Berserkers, you have a 45% chance to hit everyone in a cone. So once again, it's another 3 mage effect where it's a chance, hit and miss, and it doesn't do anything else. Plus, all the Berserker champions except for Olaf aren't really that amazing anyways. So I think this Cybernetic origin is going to replace that Berserker class and just be better. Final composition we have here in this picture, we got some sorcerers, 3 mech pilots, we got Rumble right there in the middle. He looks really cool, and we also have Fizz, 3 Star Guardians and 2 Demolitionist. Okay, I hope I said that right. So mech pilot at 3 at the start of combat. 3 mech pilot champions are merged into a super mech until it dies. Oh, that's really interesting. So Annie tier 2, she's a mech pilot, as we've seen it before. She's a frontline spell damage. Rumble at tier 3 mech pilot and Demolitionist frontline spell damage. And we got Fizz at tier 4 mech pilot infiltrator, backline crowd control and damage. So he's gonna jump to the back. Tier 4 means that Fizz is gonna be an expensive champion, which is interesting because I expected Fizz to be sort of like a tier 3 or a tier 2 champion. And then we have Demolitionist at 2. Their spells stun for 2.5 seconds. So if they cast a spell, they're gonna stun for 2.5 seconds on top of their skill. That's very interesting, and it sounds really strong. So we got Ziggs here. He's a rebel, Demolitionist, range spell damage, and then sorcerers once again, Zoe, Ahri, Syndra. We've already seen that. How it works in this comp, Annie, Rumble, and Fizz combine together into a super mech. This big tanky mech shares traits, stats from the pilots, so the higher star level they are, the stronger your mech. The super mech can also use up to 3 items, which makes for an interesting puzzle on how you itemize it. Then by including 4 sorcerers, your mech gains 40% extra spell power. And when your mech casts his giant AoE spell, it stuns everyone it hits for 2.5 seconds. Oh my god. I just gotta look at it again. 3 mech pilot champions merge into a super mech until it dies. I wonder how this is gonna work, especially if it turns out to be way too strong and there's gonna have to be some balancing things that Riot's gonna have to do. I don't know. Is this the picture of the super mech? If they combine it to a super mech, is it always gonna look like a Garen? Because this dude looks like a Garen to me, like a robotic Garen. From a thematic standpoint, we're really excited to see a giant mech and the destruction it can cause. From a gameplay standpoint, we're really excited to be able to see a giant mech and the destruction it can cause. It'll also be fun to see which items and traits synergize best with this mech. Its spell is really big, but it's also susceptible to crowd control. All of the different possibilities should lead to some really cool highlights. I am very excited about this trait. I did definitely put a smile on my face because this is very interesting. The only thing is I really wonder how this is going to work. Like how big is this? How big is the mech going to be on the board? You know, is it always going to be this? You know, is it going to have different animations? Wow, yeah, I mean, this is gonna be sick. I mean, there's only 3 mechs anyway, so once you have all of them on the board, there's only gonna be one type of super mech. I love that we got a better berserker class coming through. Sorcerers, you know, it's the better version of the mage. So hopefully Riot is going to improve on the other origin classes that aren't working so well in set 2 and revamping them up in set 3. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next time.